You can't enter the Bible said concerning the Egyptians, that when the children of Israel went through the parted sea, the Egyptians, also supposing to do, were drowned. They ask you, what is your consistent pattern of faith development and of investing into the seed of your heart? In a week you don't have. And you then assume that they say go. Yaje, pasa. You will learn as you go. You will discover the way but you will suffer. So the practical thing, and if you ask Pastor, he will tell you that there were things he was doing practically. Number two, he wasn't out to impress anybody. So he had the capacity to say, let's just move them in this season to this season. If you cannot be engaged in faith-leaking decision and think God will not, you cannot make your lack of planning God's emergency.
That's right. That's right.
You cannot make your lack of planning God's emergency. And so the question is, are you doing what needs to be done on a consistent basis?
Thank you so much, sir. Mr. Remy?
Okay, quickly.
Sorry, sir. Please, let's start writing our questions if you ask them and give them to David. He will pass them to me, please.
Okay, so just like Pastor and Doctor they have said, sequencing, I think it's about maturing in the things of God. I mean, if you cannot hear God about what clothes to wear, and you now want to hear God about who to marry, it's you have to build your faith. Okay? When I tell people, it was God that told me where I would work. I saw it. I mean, I have different ways of hearing from God, which I have established by our personal interaction. So I can now say that this is not God speaking. When I was going to get into Mobile, like I mentioned earlier, it was God that led me there into the oil. I didn't know anybody in oil and gas. And one thing led to the other. And I saw this and I applied. And he told me, okay, you're going to go here and everything. And I got in. And then when God said, resign, I heard him again. That resign. Of course, I mean, like you would say, you're a big boy. I was one of the best staff, all right? I had become an expatriate at that time. I traveled all over the world. I'd come back to Nigeria. And that was when I heard, resign for the work that I have for you. If you had not built the kind of spiritual muscle I had built at that time, it's either you would just still stay there, and it's not that God would be angry with you. But I resigned. And I went through all the things that I was supposed to go through, which is, what I'll call a desert, process for me. Okay? And then we are another set of person today. So it's about the foundation really is hearing God. That's what builds your faith. Okay, and it's not going to be, I mentioned earlier that the rules of the priest is different from the rules of the kings. We are in the marketplace. We are more like kings. We have to see, you have to plan. But for pastors that are ministering, God can talk to, they are pastoring thousands of people. God can talk to any one of them to say, okay, go and sow into my son's life. You are working. God is not telling anybody to come and sow into you because nobody is even seeing you like that. Of course, it can happen, but ours would be more of you have to plan, you have to understand God at that level that He works with you as a king in the marketplace. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. I just felt like that's where we should start, and I'm sure that's for someone. So we'd like to take questions from the floor. So if you have a question, please raise your hand. we will give you the mic. David, please help me give him the mic. Please come, sir. Let me give you the mic.
Thank you very much. My name is Benjamin. My question is, while I was sitting, I actually have two questions, but I'll just focus on one. And that is, from the standpoint of vulnerability, after you have heard God, and I'll take a cue from what Barami said, and you are going through the desert phase, to be honest with you, fear will grip you. How do you deal with that fear?
Okay.
Okay. Yes. I mean, let's face it. One thing I learned from Dr. Oshinake was that we don't have enough examples of people in faith, Christians, that have actually taken steps and then also showing their vulnerability. Yeah, I mentioned something. Your personal relationship with God starts first. Yeah, of course, there were instances that the concern, because I asked God, how am I going to take care of myself? How am I going to take care of my family, my mom, my dad? Okay? I was practically the first millionaire of the family, and they are not going to lose this, and there was God telling you that I have bigger assignment for you, and I need to prepare you for it. It was really, really concerning. However, because I had established pattern of how God has been, he had never failed. And I had established, as a matter of fact, okay, so I had one company then. I started one, I'm an entrepreneur, so it was, Nigeria had not started GSM at that time. So we were doing what we call call, as you were carrying traffic for calls. All right, so we had that. I had the company, and they were paying me in dollars as far back then. So they were paying me dollars. So I was reasoning. I said, okay, maybe God said, leave the oil and gas, and then this one will be sustaining you. I said, okay. Then I left. And of course, God meant that I want to suspend all your economic activities, and I want you to face me. This is a moment I want to purge right deep down. And I lost that business too, and I was alone where God wanted me. Now, the spiritual growth that I had within that period is not quantifiable. So if I tell you today that by the grace of God, so far, my company has attracted over 300 million not knowing anybody, not knowing anything. Still the same God, and it's not even related to oil and gas. So it will tell you that, okay, God really has something for you. It's sequential. You will build it up in faith. We will still get there. Praise God.
All right, thank you. I want to ask a follow-up question. Pastor Bolu, God has told you something, and you have taken that initial first step of faith, but it's taken a while. And you want to avoid the kind of mistake that Abraham made. God made him a promise, right? But in between the time that the promise was made and the time the promise was fulfilled, there were mistakes. What do we do to ensure that we still, while waiting for the promise to be fulfilled, we don't make the same mistakes that Abraham made?
Okay. For me, walking with God is going to bring you to a point whereby you're actually a dead person. That is it. Whether you are in business, whether it is ministry, God wants you to come to the point whereby you are not depending on anything that is in you. Your totality of your dependence is completely on Him. And if you are not, the earlier you are there, the better for you. That's something I've discovered about God. If you are not there, He will wait for you until He gets you there. okay, now God has promised you something and it's not happening. So what do you do so you don't make Abraham's mistakes? For me, I wouldn't admit that Abraham made a mistake. And I have my reasons. Because in his culture, the culture he existed, that was the normal thing. That is it. The culture Abraham lived, it was normal. Although it wasn't God's ultimate. So it was natural, because you've seen some men, oh, you're married, your wife didn't put to bed on time. Before you know it, the man played away match. And they say he wanted to confirm whether, they say it was the problem. And meanwhile, he played away match. But you know, God caused all things to work together for good. So for me, it's more like if you value your relationship with God, for me, it is God first. I am dead to myself. I'm dead to my ego. I don't have any reputation. So if God promised me, and it doesn't even happen at all at the end of the day, because I am so sure it was God, I'm fine with it. So let me give you one practical example. I've been working, I've been a pastor. I was working with an IT company before I joined pastorate for the full time. And we already have 3 kids. I look at my bank statement part time. Anytime I'm saving money to get our own property, as the money is building my account, I will hear God say, give this man this $500,000, give this one this. And it was a trend. So one day I had a conversation with God. Is it a sin to have savings that you want to use? And I like what Brother Remy said, that if you're a pastor, God will deal with you separately. If you're a business person, it's different. But for me, I'm a priest. Let me use his own definition. And I had that conversation. Is it a sin? And God asked the question, why? I said, you know why we are saving for this. And I have a loving wife. Let me use a woman of faith. Because each time I tell her that I feel like to give this away, she doesn't question it. Meanwhile, she's the same person on my neck, Bolu, that we have in our own accommodation. Until I kept obeying God. Until miraculously we met a developer. The marketer took us to a property. And then the marketer did a report to our boss. And my name showed up. So the boss came to me that I saw your name. My marketer showed me you were at our property. I didn't come back. I said, I cannot come back because what he was quoting was out of my league. And I must pay within 18 months. Unless God opens the window of heaven. And the man said, Pastor Poju, come back. Tell us what you want. The first thing God did was, because we waited, and it took years, really. We waited. The first thing the man did was to knock off 20% from the value of the property. It was unbelievable. I was there when he told the marketer, take this percentage off. So I'm left with like, okay, 80%. Then 80%, I should do 10% deposit. The 10% deposit was in my account. It was lesser than that because you've been giving. Then I told the man, okay, give me some time. And then after about 4 weeks, I got the confidence that the 10% was ready. And then I sent the text, oh, the 10% is ready. However, I cannot do 18 months. We can only do 5 years. And then we want to take possession at the 18th month, assuming we have paid. Because I can see God's favor at work. So I sent the text to the man. This is it. Normally, it's 18 months, supposed to pay. So I have 10%. I'll take possession at the 18th month. The man didn't respond until a month after. And the man said, Pastor Poju, what you sent to me is fine. It's acceptable. And that was it. But it took a while. While I was waiting on God, I looked like a fool. Because how can you be saving and then to tell you, we are fully paying for their property anyway. Because the money just came. And for me, each time I remember that event, if God tells me to empty my account tomorrow, I'm ready to do it. Because he has proved himself that he has done it before and he has the capacity to do it. Thank you.
Praise the Lord.
Hallelujah.
So I don't know if we have any other questions on the floor. Okay, go ahead, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. All right, my name is Oluwafemi. My question is this. I want to know how to manage servant leadership at my place of work. Because I manage a team, and from what I've learned today, that you don't lead from the top. There are some things as a leader that you need to do also, as in just like being a servant. But I realized that sometimes my team members will just sit back and allow me to just carry all the responsibility.
Do everything.
Do everything. So I'm just, and sometimes it becomes cumbersome on me, and the weight of being the leader comes over me. So, and in the process, one might misbehave if one is not careful. So I want to know how I can manage that, and at least I'll still be seen as a leader that at least is considerate. Let me just put it that way.
All right, thank you, Dr. Bamayan.
Let me ask you a question. At the end of the year, will you be appraised? No, will you be appraised? So you will be appraised. So at the end of the year, your appraiser would not show consideration. Mm-hmm. It will not show that you are a nice person. It will show you met agreed targets. You can sit down. You can sit down, sir. Now, I work in the public space, and I work in the emergency room. I head the emergency room in Lut. Civil service is probably one of the most difficult places to show consideration, to be a nice person, to show that you are not Oga. Because the structure of public service, to a large extent, is rule-based, is hierarchy-based. And the flip side of it, therefore, is that there's a lot of eye service also. Ogambo kind of thing. But what is never in doubt in my mind is that results is the rule of the game. What does my being a servant leader do? My servant leadership, I have secretaries that work under me, and I have to give them tasks. My servant leadership is not going, I'm not going to type your letter for you. In fact, I had one secretary that to type was a problem. If she types, the English will correct. So one day, I said to her, and to now add to that, she doesn't come early. So one day I told her, go and type your own query by yourself. I'll give you a query, but type it by yourself. So I made her type a query by herself. And I sat down with her when she brought the query. Because one responsibility that servant leadership has at the end of the day, you must produce results. And the hope is to help improve people as you go ahead. If you produce results for them without helping them improve, you are not a leader. I've forgotten who said, I think it's John Quincy Adams, the 6th President of the United States, that says that if by your actions you inspire others to want to be more, do more, and become more, then you are a leader. And I can flip it the other way, that if by your actions you do not inspire others to want to do more, become more, and generally become better, you are not a leader. Allowing people get by irresponsibility is not leadership. I'm the nicest of, they will tell you that we've been at meetings before where a patient was raking up for everybody and said, I want to talk to your boss. I was wearing jeans and t-shirts, and he was insulting me literally. And to the point I said, that is the boss you want to talk to. And the man calmed down. So you not know, you're not differentiating. You won't find me wearing a suit except I have a meeting. I can blend easily. I'm talking to Potter, I'm eating down with them, eating meat pie with them. But if I enter and I say, why is there refuse on this floor? You will know why there has to be authority in the house. It does not exempt you, and it does not exempt them. You are a bad leader if your actions do not encourage people to do better. Your work as a leader, therefore, is to ask, what exactly is the problem and how can I assist you with the challenge? So I got my secretary a dictionary. When you type, check word like this. But I'm not going to do the work for you. And you cannot burn yourself, because your key role, and let me just say this second on the mic, your key role as a leader is vision. How to ensure we achieve the targets. If you have to do so much in terms of being involved at the manual level, there's something wrong about your leadership. You can be nice, you can be supportive as the leader, yet principled. They know me very well. One moment we are laughing, the next moment I am telling you, you're going to get a query. And it's like joke when I say you're going to get a query. But you will get that query. And I'm telling them, I will pray for you that God will grant you the grace to be able to pass through the process. But do not take the responsibility that is not yours as a leader. You will become an ineffective leader. And I hope they appraise you low on leadership so that you can learn.
All right, thank you, sir. That's a nice way to say that niceness is not the fruit of the Spirit. It is kindness that is the fruit of the Spirit. And
Actually,
irresponsibility.
sorry,
Let me just say, for those of you that follow football, you know that one of the strongest coaches in football is Mourinho. Mourinho can bring a player in one half and substitute the player in the same half. Because what they will judge is not a nice coach. They will check the Premiership table and they will check trophies you have won. Don't be afraid. Over to you.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for that. So just to add, like he said, one of the places that is really, really most difficult to lead is public sector. Public sector, they say something, ogata, you know. And you being a child of God, you want to lead, you want to deliver. Like he said, once you fire somebody if you need to, give query if you need to, it's within your, you know. So for me, in the private sector, one of the things, as much as I like my staff and I play with them, they know when, look, get this done, else something will happen. And it's part of our duty when the big picture is in focus. Anybody that is not aligning. I remember we brought in a lady, and the lady was disrupting the team dynamics. Okay, negative, toxic energy, and all like that. And I was getting complaints. Okay, this, that, and she was okay in her right. And then other interaction further confirms that, look, I can't keep this lady longer. I spoke with her, sorry, we're okay, but we will not be able to work together, you know, like that. I should have looked for one excuse like that to discharge her. And before you know it, the team dynamics came back. So as a leader, as a servant leader, it's also your responsibility to ensure that the guys that will work move forward, and whoever is dragging them back, prune the branches, and then let these ones go forward. Thank you.
All right. Okay.
Thank you. I'd like to say this, that as a leader, you must be ready to wear different caps. This servant leadership style we are talking about, in my opinion, works best in faith-based environment, like church. In the public sector, I think sometimes autocratic style of leadership will work. And even in church, where we practice servant leadership back to back, sometimes you need to be autocratic. I give an instance. I lead the youth expression of the Star Hub. And these young Gen Z guys, they are free. They have the freedom to talk, you know, they ask questions. So I was having a meeting with them, about 200 of them, 150 to 200 of them. And while I was in front, I saw a guy and a girl, they were just chatting from the beginning of the meeting. It was distracting me, but, you know, I'm a pastor, be nice to them. So I ignored. I turned. About 30 minutes into the meeting, they were still chatting. At one point, I just paused. I called the two of them out. You, out. They looked back. I said, yeah, I'm talking to the two of you. Out. And then they were trying to explain. I said, it's like your discussion is so sweet. Can you continue outside? Can you clap for them as they go? And everybody shaped up. Pastor Bolu is nice. Pastor Bolu has come down